further related matters. Now we move on. Europe's top human rights court has ruled unanimously that Russia was responsible for the downing of Malaysian Airlines flight MH17 in 2014, that Moscow repeatedly and systemically violated human rights in Ukraine. The European Court of Human Rights said Russia carried out indiscriminate military attacks, summary executions, torture, including rape and unjustified displacement of civilians. The ruling covered 4 cases, including MH17, and allegations that pro-Russian separatists abducted Ukrainian children and transferred them to Russia. The Strasbourg-based European Court of Human Rights said Russia failed to investigate or cooperate, and that its continued denials caused more suffering for victims' families. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov has rejected the court's jurisdiction and said it will not abide by the decision. We're once again joined by Ruben Johnson to discuss this in further detail. Ruben, thank you very much for joining us and discussing this. How significant is it that this unanimous ruling by Europe's top human rights court, do you think it can actually hold Russia accountable when Moscow rejects this court's jurisdiction here of some fairly terrible things? I believe we've had some technical issues there. Apologies. Hopefully, Ruben joins us back soon. Ruben, did you hear my question?
Yeah, I heard your question, sir. Yeah, I'm sorry for there's some network difficulties due to weather here today. I'm sorry for that.
Of course.
Of course, yeah, the Russians, of course, they're going to just ignore the findings of the rulings of this court, because this is what they've always done. But it is interesting that it has caused real diplomatic pain, because on a couple of occasions now, Vladimir Putin has been unable to attend a summit of the BRICS countries, because the country where the summit was being held was a country that was a signatory to the ICC treaty, and they would be obligated by law to arrest him and send him to The Hague. And this will continue. The Russians will continue to deny that they've ever done anything wrong. I have said this before on this channel, and I will say it again. Russians are always victims. They're never perpetrators. They've never done anything wrong. Only wrong has been visited upon them. That's the basis of every single argument they ever make. But all of the points you just mentioned, I remember 11 years ago when that airplane was shot down, the Malaysian airliner. And I was even on the BBC on that day talking about it. And it was easy to see how it happened, because they gave an air defense battery to a group of people unqualified and untrained in using it, and without being connected to a larger air traffic control network to know what they were shooting at. The situation, just to switch to another point you made, which I find this one absolutely the most barbaric of all, it's the kidnapping of what we think might be as many as 35,000 Ukrainian children who've been taken to Russia to be raised and brainwashed and told that their country is terrible and their country's not a real country, and they should wear their special scarf and learn to sing songs about the greatness of Russia and how Ukraine is full of Nazis. And the Russians have prevaricated. They have blocked every single effort to investigate what's going on. The Russian, and there are entities in the West that are collecting DNA data. They are doing research. They're trying to find out what some of these children are, and their databases and their communications are actually actively attacked by the Russian intelligence services. And now the Russians, if you can imagine this, they are using these children as a bargaining chip. One of their latest negotiating tactics was that, well, Ukraine, if you'll give us 2 Russian captured soldiers, 2 Russian POWs, we'll give you 1 child. Now that's the Russians. That's how they operate.
Ruben,
and I don't know. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry. Obviously, we've heard of the crimes that Russia has been found guilty of. I want to go back to courts like these and their decisions that they draw. And obviously, it gains international media attention, but then when the headlines start coming in and it gets further down the queue, we see that these international courts, what standing do they really have, is my question. You obviously say that we have the cases of the ICC, who have arrest warrants for figures like Vladimir Putin, who have arrest warrants for figures like Benjamin Netanyahu. We've recently seen Rodrigo Duterte being arrested and taken to The Hague. So that would have been seen as an anomaly, it seems, in these situations. What are your thoughts on the effectiveness of these courts and their standings?
Well, they're very effective when the individuals who are put in their crosshairs don't have safe refuge that they can hide in. Obviously, Vladimir Putin does. I have my own opinions about. Somehow, I feel they cause themselves to be taken less seriously when they equate someone like Vladimir Putin with Benjamin Netanyahu. I mean, they're not even in the same category. You know, one country suffered a brutal terrorist attack where people have been just slaughtered in the most barbaric way, and the other person is someone who's decided to invade his neighbor and has killed literally tens of thousands of people. Wherever and whenever possible that these courts can, when they're allowed to do their job, they actually have positive results. And I mean, witness what happened with Milosevic, who was the president of Serbia, who was taken in after the wars in the Balkans. I mean, that's a positive example, but these are very few because there's no enforcement mechanism, as you know.
Yes.
But as I said earlier, it does start to cause diplomatic pain when someone like Vladimir Putin cannot go to South Africa for a BRICS summit because they're obligated to arrest him.
Yes, of course.
And it actually, they act as, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but they act as a unifying force, because in that particular case, the South African president was trying to find a way to allow Putin to come anyway, to come up with some pretzel logic legalese that would allow it to happen, and his parliament wasn't having it.
Yes, Reuben Johnson, thank you very much. We are still discussing with you. US President